back. If you have been here before, welcome back. If you are new, welcome. This is a podcast about knitting and also about dyeing yarn. This is episode number 41, and my name is Camilla, and I work as a knitwear designer and recently also as a yarn dyer. I have been dyeing yarn since October, and it kind of took over a little bit. Besides being a yarn and knitting nerd, I'm also a teacher, so I work part-time as a teacher and part-time as a knitwear designer / yarn dyer. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the projects that I'm working on. I'm not working on that many actually. And also I'm going to show you some of the new yarn that I've been dyeing. I have started to dye on Silk Mohair, which has been so much fun and so very different from dyeing some of my other bases. So I will be talking a little bit about that as well. And also I will be attending my first yarn festival as a vendor. And I'm very excited about that. And also actually I'm very nervous because I've never been there before. So I worry, what's it going to be like? Are people going to be nice? Will anyone buy any of my products? All those kind of worries. Yeah, that's on a festival called Fiberfolk that will be held in Vejle in Denmark on March 12th. So if you are there, please come and stop by and say hi. And yeah, let's just take it from the top, shall we? I am right now working on my forest pine sweater. I just had these patterns printed so that I can bring those to the yarn festival, so people can actually buy my patterns and not just only get a download. And I gave this sweater for my nephew for Christmas, except that this sweater actually on the front is too small. So yeah, I had to knit him a new one. And in my last episode, I think I had just split for sleeves and body and was knitting on the body. And now that is complete. And I'm working on the sleeve. Almost done with the sleeve. So I just need to do some, actually I just need to measure this to see if it's long enough. I know it will stretch a little bit when I block it. So you don't want to do the full sleeve length when you do, especially not if it's a yarn that's going to grow a little bit when you wash it. I don't think this will grow that much, but it will always grow a little bit. So, and the measurements on a pattern will always give you the measurements after washing and blocking, because yarn will just differ so much on how it behaves after you have washed and blocked it. So you can actually give the gauge for a non-wash and blocked product. And of course that's a little bit hard. That's why when you do a swatch, you always need to wash and block your swatch to make sure you get the right result. And that's a lot of work, and some of us don't really want to go there. You know that I usually don't do that myself either, not when I was knitting other people's patterns either. I would just knit and see how it went. And if the sleeves were too long, I would just kind of rip some of it up and, you know, adjust. But that's just to, yeah, let you know, that's how it works. Yeah, so I'm pretty close with the sleeve. And I have really enjoyed knitting this sweater. The first version I did not enjoy that much because I kind of left it, knitted a little bit, then I left it, did other projects. So sometimes when I have a project that I'm working on over a long time of period, because I have so many other projects, it kind of feels like it took me forever to knit that object or that product. So this time I just kind of decided that once I'm gonna cast on for this sweater, I'm not gonna cast on anything else. I'm just gonna only knit on this. And I have, and still it has been it's taking me some time. As you can tell, it's been 2 weeks since I divided for sleeve and body, and I'm not done yet. Also, I don't have quite the same amount of knitting time as I did earlier, because since I started to dye yarn, I just kind of go dye yarn instead of sitting down and knitting. And I think that will kind of find its balance at a point. But right now, dyeing yarn is just, I I just can't help it. I just need to go, and if I get an idea of a color combo, I just need to go and see how that's going to turn out. So, but I think designing patterns is still like my main passion, and it will get some more attention in the future. But I just really think you should allow yourself to do whatever your heart desires right now. So that is why I dye yarn more than designing right these days, actually. But anyway, I'm hoping it's big enough. I think it actually looks a little small, and I know it's hard because it will grow a little bit after I washed it. So let me just see if the measurements are right. Maybe I should do that when we're all done. 108 centimeters. Spot on. It's exactly the measurements that it should be. So I think we're good. And hopefully my nephew will not gain too much weight. He's a very slim guy, so I'm sure he won't. I forgot my drink. So that was the forest pine sweater. I also, and I think I mentioned that in the last episode, that I was gonna cast on for a pair of socks, because I didn't have any socks going, and it's always nice to just have something in a small bag like this that will fit in any bag, and I can bring with me to work for when I have a meeting or something like that. So yeah, I always have socks on my needle, and I didn't the last time. So I have cast it on. Pair of socks. This is just a plain vanilla sock. I have a pattern only in Danish so far. I have said that for so long. Maybe one day I will actually get it translated. But it is just a 3x1 ribbing. You can do this in any pattern. I have used my Greenbow Alabama sock base and a contrasting purple, and I forgot if I call this dark plum or dark aubergine, and Greenbow Alabama. I will link these two colors down below if you want to do the same combo. I think it's a really cute combo with that kind of warm beige and the purple. I think looks really good. I'm not going to do a contrasting heel. I'm only going to do a contrasting cuff and toe, because there will not be enough in one mini. You do not have enough for a toe, a heel, and this much cuff. I think I did 20 rounds of purple here in the ribbing, and then I don't think I will have enough for both the heel and the toe, because on the heel I do a few extra rounds for it to fit my foot. So if you want to do contrasting cuff, heel and toe, I would suggest only doing 15 rounds in the ribbing, just to make sure you have enough yarn. Yeah, I'm really liking the combo. And I love knitting socks. It's just so mindless. And I love the small needles. And also the changing between thicker needles and smaller needles is actually good for your body and your hands, so you don't... I have a tendency to kind of work my hands another way when I have very small needles. It kind of hurts my hands a little bit more, so I can't do that all the time. I need to kind of switch around when I'm working on. So this is a US 6, a 4mm, and this is a 2.2mm sock needle. So that's a good difference actually. And this is the only things that I'm knitting on right now. I also have a project up here, which is my melancholy sweater that I'm working on in a blue single ply merino from Madeline Touch in the colorway Stovepipe. I've talked about that before, and in the last episode number 40, I actually do talk about the project. So if you want to see more about that, you can go back. It's taking a break because I'm working on the forest pine sweater, and once that is done, I have a new design idea with Esther that I'm going to be working on. So the melancholy sweater for me is just going to wait a little while. It's okay, that's fine. I'm not in a rush with that at all. Esther has an idea for a sweater, and I think the idea is pretty good. So we're gonna get some yarn for that, and we can start the progress on that in a week or so. Next week is a normal work week, and then the week after that we have a week vacation in Denmark, week number 7. We count the year into weeks. I don't know if you do that everywhere in the world, but we always count, like kind of divide the year into weeks, so we know that week number 7 is the winter break, and week number 42 is the fall break, and so on. And yeah, so in a week from now the vacation will start, and me and Esther and a friend of mine are going to our summer house. Lars will unfortunately be working, and Nomi's going skiing, and we're gonna spend just a few days at the summer house and some days here, and we're gonna do that design together, her and I, and that's going to be so much fun. It's just, I love it when she has this interest in ideas and things she wants me to make, so that's good. Okay, so on March 12th there will be a knitting event in the city of Vejle, which is in Jylland, here in Denmark, and there will be so many good vendors there with yarn and all kinds of knitting related vendors. I have had all my newest pattern printed, ready to go. And also I actually have a new pattern in here that I have not released yet, which is, do I have a better picture in here? I don't have the blanket because I had someone knit it for me and they kept it. But it's the baby bubble blanket. When you buy the pattern you get both. On print anyway, so I'm going to do like that or like this. Actually I am working on my own version of it. Maybe I could just actually show you. So it's not entirely true that I didn't have anything else on my needles. I just didn't even count this one because I haven't been working on it for a long time. I was actually also indecisive if I was going to finish it or not. But this is the baby bubble blanket. And as you can see, I have not made that much progress yet. But I really adore, I am totally gonna finish this now that I look at it again. It looks so cute. This is the baby bubble blanket. The pattern is done. It's not released yet. It will be as soon as I translate it into English, like always. It's always what's stopping me or what's keeping my pattern from being published. Yeah. It's like a DK weight. I use 2 strands of my own single 420. I think this one is called Bubbles in the Hay. I think I only have 1 skein left because I took the rest for me. And I'm doing this baby bubble blanket. It's very, if you like to knit the bubbles, and I love to knit the bubbles. As you all know, I have, I don't know how many million patterns with the bubbles. But this, if you looking for a project that's easy, fast, and where you can just practice the bubbles, this is the place to go. And if you're worried that it's too hard for you to make bubbles, I do have a video tutorial on YouTube that will show you exactly how it works. It's not hard at all. So if you buy the pattern, you can't buy it yet because it's not published yet. But if you buy the pattern, there will be a link to that video tutorial. So there's nothing to be concerned about. It's actually not that hard. I taught some of my co-workers that I just recently started to knit, and I showed them how to do the bubbles, and they just knit bubbles and bubbles and bubbles and bubbles and bubbles. So it's really not that hard. Okay, So that was all my projects, and I really hope I'm not lying this time. Well, I am, because I do have other projects, but they are just kind of hibernating, can you say that? So this is waiting for me to have time to give them some attention, and that's just not right now. I am wearing I think I wear this a lot when I podcast. It's just it's the sweater that never gets to come up to my room, because it's always on a chair or by the staircase, and I put this on all the time. I love that it's soft colored, and it has a neutral peachy kind of look to it. It's done in Metal and Tush. I think this is Modern Fair Isle. I think this is As Ever, and I think this is Rokinende, and they all have the same Silk Mohair from Mohair by Cacutus in the color peach. It is my cactus flower sweater, and you can buy that if you want on Ravelry and on my website. I will link down below where you can get the pattern if you're interested. Okay, so that was potterware, projects. I have no finished objects. Not so good. I have a lot of finished yarn that I dyed, if you're interested in that. Oh, actually, let's talk a little bit about yarn, because I did start to dye on a Silk Mohair, and it's right here. And tonight at 8, I have a shop update with the Silk Mohair. I don't have that much, because I think I got 3 kilos, which is almost nothing. And just to try to see if I liked it, and just to see if it was too difficult for me to dye on Silk Mohair, or just to give it a try. And let me just pick out some random colors. Not true, because I just accidentally picked out the one I love the most. This is Mocha Rose, and I love it. It has it's like a rose gold color mohair. Dyeing silk mohair is really fun. I think it's really, really, really fun, because the yarn just reacts so different to the dye than like a normal sock yarn. It feels like you take what is that's like dyeing cotton candy. I think you just put a bunch of cotton candy. You can't put that in water. I think it will just kind of turn into nothing. We just have mountains of cotton candy and then dye on those. It's just so much fun. Anywho, let me show you some of the silk mohair. This is Tennessee Warbler. I wanted to dye this because I was just very curious to see if I could. This is the Tennessee Warbler on my single 420 base, and I really like this color combo. I really, really like it. So I wanted to see if I could make this color on the silk mohair. And because the dye kind of reacts differently, it's harder to speckle on a silk mohair. But I think it turns out so good. I'm so happy. So this was Tennessee Warbler. Whoopsie. This is one of my other favorites. This is Cinnamon Spice. This is before I got the yarn twister. So this is twisted by hand. So every time someone buys one, I retwist them. I just don't want to do that in advance. I just do that when someone buys them. I retwist them, and I wanted to see if I can make the Cinnamon Spice silk mohair to go with it. So some of the colors, some of the silk mohairs in the shop will have a matching fingering weight somewhere. Some will match a single merino 420 base, and some will maybe match the glitter base. It's a little different. I'm just trying out some of the colors that I had. The Cinnamon Spice you can get on all my bases, I think, except the glittery ones, because it's kind of hard to speckle on glitter yarn. So I haven't really experimented a lot with that yet, but maybe in the future. But yeah, cinnamon spice. And I also did here. So the mint and mustard is one of it's a base that I really like. I have it in the sock base. I also have it here on my 366 base. I just call it that so that it's obvious how many meters you will have. But this is this mustard and mint. And of course we needed to get a mohair to match it. So some of the mohairs that I dyed to match an existing colorway, and others I just did for the fun of it. I just finished this morning dyeing a wholesale order for my local yarn store that is owned by a very good friend of mine. So she owns the yarn store, and they just ordered some of the gold suck yarn for their store, and in dyeing some of the yarn I came up with a new colorway. I can just show you. I did this. I don't know if it's hard to see on the camera. Maybe I should adjust the lighting a little bit if I can find the thing. Here we go. Oops, don't log into the light. Hold on. Just adjusting the light to see if I can. Okay, but this is a new colorway in the gold suck base, and I'm right now in the dye bath. I have a not a milk mohair, a silk mohair to match this that I'll have in the shop. Not today, because it won't be done by today, but maybe during the weekend. And I will also be dyeing this for my own shop because I think they're so beautiful. So I think that's all for the yarn. I have dyed tons of minis, so I will be putting some of those online. And also I have been thinking about something. I have been thinking about doing like a surprise Easter egg, and I need some feedback on this. Would it be fun if I did like a surprise Easter egg? So you buy this Easter egg, and I could have like different prices, and then just do a total 100% surprise what's inside. Like maybe you buy for I don't know, 500 Danish kroners, which is about I don't know how much it's in dollars or euros, but look that up. 500 Danish kroners, and you will know nothing about what's inside. Or the same or different amounts, and then I will let you know what kind of bases, like 1 mini, 1 silk mohair, 1 sock base, and so on, or 5 minis, blah blah blah. Do like different variations, and then you can pick out, and then of course you will not know the color. Or do you want options like yellows, greens, blues, reds? For me, when I think of an Easter egg, I think of certain colors, like in the pastels, and of course yellow. So for me, I think it would be more fun to have an Easter egg and not know the colors. But I totally understand if you want to know the bases of the yarn. Could you give me some feedback on that? Would you be interested in something like that? And would you prefer to know the bases, or do you prefer for it to be a 100% surprise? Do you want patterns inside or no patterns? Because I think sometimes you get patterns in some of these surprise boxes, and it's a pattern that you will never knit. So I prefer to buy my own patterns, so I only get the patterns that I want. But with yarn, it's different. You can always use a fun mini skein for a blanket or for a contrasting toe or something like that. But I've really been thinking about that Easter egg. And I think it just sounds, I don't know, it sounds divine in some way. Like, I don't know, for me, Easter and Easter eggs has also always been something special. I think because of the colors and spring, and yeah, I just love Easter. And I don't know if it's different how much you celebrate Easter in different countries, but here in Denmark, at least, you will go hide Easter eggs in the garden and the kids will go find them, and we will have like daffodils in everywhere. I have a huge bouquet of daffodils in my living room. As soon as I can buy them in the store, I buy them, and they cost almost nothing. And I put them in vases. I always think that's so hard to say. A vase. I put them in a vase. I put them in a vase. I don't know the difference. Anyway, I have them all over. And so, yeah. And also we have a big Easter lunch that's actually very close to the Christmas lunch. So we have all the different kinds of toppings for the rugbrød, which is the Danish rye bread that we have here, and we have all different kinds of stuff to put on top, and lots of beer and schnapps. It seems like the Danes, every time there's a holiday, what we do is eat lots of food and drink beer and schnapps. We are very alcoholic loving people here in the north, I think, because it's so cold. That's all we have to do. Anyway, if you want to check out the mohair, just check out the mohair and see what it looks like and how many colors I have. You can go online. If you want to see it in real life and you don't live too far away from Vejle, you can come and see me at the Fiberfolk Festival in March in Vejle on March 12th, and I'm not sure when they will open the doors, but I'm sure you can find lots of information about the festival online at Fiberfolk. I will link their page down below as well. And hopefully by next time I will have finished the forest pine sweater, and maybe I will also have finished a pair of socks. Hopefully I will be working on new designs. I'm thinking about new shawl designs, but you know, we're getting, before you know it, the summer will be here, and I will have plenty of time to think of the next knitwear season. Yeah, I think that's all for now actually. So it felt good to be back and talking to you guys. And hopefully it will be time for a vlog soon as well. I haven't done a vlog since Christmas during Vlogmas, and it's always just, I don't know, so much fun to do vlogs. But I just prefer to do a vlog when there's something going on around me, not just a normal Sunday or Monday or whatever. I like it to be just something out of the ordinary as happening as well. So we will see. Maybe I'll take you to the summer house. Hopefully I will be doing some kind of vlog for the yarn festival, the Fiberfolk, but that's still a long time from now. So hopefully before that something will happen. You never know. Let me know what you think about the Easter egg, because my mind is kind of going. I think it's fun, and maybe I should do a pre-order, you know, all these thoughts. So much of this stuff is new for me as a business owner, and I need to figure out how to do all this. Yeah, I think that's it. I'll go check on my mohair and get that all rinsed and hung up to dry, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Take care out there, guys. See you later. Bye. Oh, by the way, you can find me on Instagram and everywhere else on as Cacutus. I will link all the information down below. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to. See you.